was like, what if this is a breast cancer? Would I be having a surgery? Would I be having chemotherapy? Would I be having both? I've worked in oncology. I've worked in one of the biggest cancer centers. And so guys, let me give you guys one personal gist. So a few months ago, I was in the bathroom when I was having a good shower. And as most of you already know, most women carry out their self-breast examination whilst taking shower because that's the most convenient time, right? So on this particular day, I was taking a shower, and as soon as I started washing my armpits, the next thing I found a lump in my armpits. Like I felt I was dreaming, and I tried to have a look again, and I felt it. I'm like, oh my god, this thing feels like a lump. And then I moved it around to see if it's movable. Doctors would be more familiar with this, right? If a lump is movable, then it's more reassuring than if a lump is fixed, right? So I moved this particular one. I wasn't sure what I was feeling. So I panicked. I think I rang my husband, and I think that was the first time I drove to work without using Google Map. I was just driving. Whilst I was driving, different thoughts were just hitting about in my head. What if this is a breast cancer? Would I be having a surgery? Would I be having chemotherapy? Would I be having both? I've worked in oncology. I've worked in one of the biggest cancer centers, and I already know the drill. I've seen women in my age group with breast cancer. I've seen women younger than me with breast cancer, and I'm like, oh, so this is my turn. And I was scared to bones. Like I was scared. So as soon as I got to work, I dropped my bag. I started seeing patients. My mind wasn't settled. So I spoke to one of our nurses who was quite experienced with doing breast examination, just for her to have a feel to ensure that I'm not making things up in my head, right? So she examined me and she was able to find the lump. But she was like, this lump looks like nothing serious. But then again, I needed to get it checked. I did the appointment triage with my GP, and they were quite efficient. I was given an appointment within the next, I think, 48 hours to come in for a breast check. So I went in, the GP checked the breast, checked my axilla, and she was able to feel the lump well, but then she felt other lumps somewhere else. So she said since that the lumps are everywhere, she doesn't think that it's something serious, but since I'm worried, she would like to request a scan. And she asked if I was happy for her to do so. So I said, why not? Let's do a scan. And then she requested an urgent blood test alongside with the scan. So the blood test came back. It was clear. And I went for my scan. So during my scan, they scanned everywhere. And the sonographer was like, oh, these lumps are quite reassuring, and I think they are more conspicuous because you are not a big person. If you were big, then maybe your lymph nodes wouldn't be this conspicuous. It's just a harmless lymph nodes. So I sort of got a kind of peace of mind, but not totally. So when I got home, I was still having a regular self-breast check. And one of the reasons is because, family history plays a huge role in things like this. If you've got a family history of breast cancer, you'll be more alert when you find things like this. But fortunately, I haven't got a family history of breast cancer, but I've got a family history of cancer. So it was still something I needed to take quite seriously. And I knew that I've always led a very healthy life. I've never smoked. I don't drink alcohol. It's something I'm proud of. And I was like, where is the breast lump coming from? But then again, after everything, the lump decided to subside. So apparently, few weeks prior, I was unwell, but I didn't think that was related because I felt that my lymph nodes should have regressed as the sickness felt better. So having said all of this, I think one of the things that got me quite scared is because I've worked in one of the biggest oncology center where I've seen women younger than me with breast cancer, women with similar age group as myself dealing with chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and I'm like, oh my God, I know how this, I've seen it like firsthand, and I know that it's nothing serious. My children are still small. So I'm like, God, please, no, this is not something I want to, I want to have to deal with. So, with all this being said, I hope you're up to date with your breast checks. If you're not, please kindly do so. Do it, especially after like a week after your period, when your breast is not looking angry and is not tender. So don't just examine the breast alone. Go into your armpits and check for any lumps or bumps in your armpits. Did you find this useful? It means other people might. Please like, share, and save for later. Thank you.